Officials from several counties in Texas have announced a series of emergency declarations to step in where the Biden administration has refused to, and that is the crisis at our southern border. The declarations essentially recognize a state of invasion as local authorities have little to no resources to respond to the influx of illegal immigrants who have been pouring, literally pouring, into their communities. And after the U.S. Supreme Court last week gave the Biden administration the green light to terminate the one thing that was actually working and holding back the flow, Trump administrations remain in Mexico policy. And I've seen that myself. We were just talking about that with the former Secretary of Homeland Security, Chad Wolf. I went down there and saw it both before and after. I want to play a couple of clips because the Secretary of Homeland Security, Alejandro Mayorkas, was on this weekend discussing this. Play clip number 2.
We are addressing this issue vigorously and aggressively to address the number of encounters that we are experiencing at the southern border.
Just a simple question. Do you think it's working?
I think that we are doing a good job. We need to do better.
So I'm going to get the Attorney General's opinion. Is the Department of Homeland Security under the Biden administration doing a good job?
Hey, thanks for having me back. You know, they're doing a good job if their goal is to get as many illegal immigrants here as possible and allow as much drug cartel activity and human trafficking as possible. In my opinion, they're basically in business with them. They're in partnership. They've opened the door to the cartels to make as much money as fast as they can, and they've encouraged them to do that. It's almost like the federal government is participating in organized crime. I'm going to say not almost, they are. And the reality is a lot of Americans are dead because of it, are dying, whether it was from COVID originally, now from drug overdoses and other crimes.
General Paxton, we're talking almost just shy of 2 million. And these are just the encounters that we've had so far this fiscal year at the southern border. That doesn't account, as I understand, for those who got across and who weren't detected. That's, as former Secretary Chad Wolf was talking about just a few moments ago, it's not just these are record numbers. These are 2, 3, 4, 5 times the amount we've seen in the past. I mean, you almost have to be intentional in this. So what's the motivation here? What is really going on? Why is the Biden administration refusing to protect the southern border?
Yeah, it's absolutely intentional. Their goal is exactly the opposite of what you'd expect them to be doing, which is protect the American border from terrorism, from criminal activity, from all the bad things that are happening to these people, especially along the border, but really all over the United States. And the reality is that I think this is their plan. They had this plan before they were elected to get as many people here to vote as possible. They want to give them amnesty. Look what they're doing in I think it was Arizona, where they're challenging their citizenship requirement, so that if you're a citizen, supposedly that's the only thing that allows you to vote is being a citizen. Well, now they're challenging Arizona having that law in place. So this is the direction that they're going. And I'd expect more of the same. They want these people voting. They want to change the country into one-party country. And this is their way of doing it, putting a lot of illegals in the country, particularly in Republican states and Republican counties in states that are not Republican states.
Well, speaking of getting involved, there are reports that the Department of Justice is investigating the state of Texas for the border security initiative, Operation Lone Star, a multi-billion-dollar plan that the state is funding itself to put in place. What can you tell us about that?
Look, the Department of Justice is no longer about justice. They ought to just be called something else, because this isn't justice. This is harassment of our state police. They're trying to discourage them from doing their jobs, from protecting our state, because their goal is to get as many people across the border. It doesn't matter what their background, criminal or terrorist, or otherwise. They want these people here no matter what their background, and they can be as bad as they can be. And the reality is what they're doing is harassing our state police and trying to intimidate them. And this is not about justice. They need to eliminate the Department of Justice and call them something else.
This is absolutely incredible that the federal government will not do its job on the border. And so Texas has stepped up with their own resources to protect their borders, because I don't think people realize what's happening in these communities on the border there. They're clearly being overrun. There's crime that's taking place. There's all kinds of things that are occurring. And the infrastructure's overrun. They can't handle it. And so Texas is stepping up to do it. And what is the FBI doing? Harassing Texas for doing what the federal government should do.
Right. And threatening, well, they're investigating already, but then threatening prosecutions and civil lawsuits against our state police and other law enforcement officers for merely trying to do some of the job that the federal government is obligated to do, refuses to do, and not only refuses to do, but actually aids and abets the cartels in doing as much harm to our country as possible.
Well, we're thankful that Texas has good conservative leadership. General Paxton, always great to talk with you. Thanks so much for joining us today.